Thank you, Sam. Now, in number 10 Downing Street, things are really not looking very good at all for the Prime Minister, as today we learn he scored an approval rating of just 11%. So here is the big question. Are Keir Starmer's days numbered? Is he a dead Prime Minister walking?
Watch how Keir Starmer fires back with a sharp insult that leaves the chamber stunned during a tense clash in the House of Commons. What happens when a simple question about migrant deportations turns into a full-blown political showdown? As Lee Anderson demands clear answers, the atmosphere shifts and emotions run high. For many watching, this isn't just politics, it's about borders, fairness and trust. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Britain Daily. It's completely free and it helps us keep bringing you the hard-hitting stories that matter. Let's watch this explosive clip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, keeps telling his gullible backbenchers, those over there, that he's deported 24,000 people from this country since he came into power. But he won't say who these people are. Now, it's my guess that they are people that came on work visas, students, and they are simply overstayers. But I'm willing, Mr. Speaker, to be proved wrong if you can answer one simple question. How many of these people that he's deported are failed asylum seekers that's come on small boats or on the back of lorries? Answer the question.
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud that we've removed over 24,000 people. That's the highest record for nearly 10 years. And we're taking other measures to get back control of our borders, including the Borders Bill, which gives our law enforcement enhanced powers, including terrorism-like powers. What did his party do? What did he do? He voted against them. And I'll tell you why he voted against them. Because they don't want to fix this problem. Because it benefits them. It benefits them not to fix it. Party before country. It's very good he's standing in for the member for Clapton, I have to say. There was no sign of him yesterday at the EU. So he was the first through the E-gates somewhere to south of France. Nice work if you can get it.
Stephen Flynn.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. If I listened to the Minister correctly, which I think I did, he said that his victims must be our first priority. Let's be clear, for the Prime Minister, they were not. Because on the 11th of the 12th, 2024, he received advice which says, and I state, Epstein was first convicted of procuring an underage girl in 2008. The following sentence says, Mandelson stayed in Epstein's house in June 2009. I repeat, the victims were not the Prime Minister's first priority. So that being the case, how can the Minister, with a straight face, stand at that dispatch box and say we must learn this hard lesson and end a culture which dismisses women's experiences when it was the Prime Minister who chose to ignore those experiences, ignore those facts and appoint Peter Mandelson in the first place?
The honourable member will have heard from my, the right honourable member, will have heard from my statement that in response to the reported allegations that are listed in the Cabinet Office due diligence, these were, of course, at the time, allegations. Questions were put to Peter Mandelson by Number 10 advisers. His responses to those questions are part of documents that we are not yet able to publish, but that we would have liked to have been able to publish today. Since then, the Prime Minister has made it very clear that Peter Mandelson lied to him. He regrets believing those lies, and if the depth and extent of that relationship, which nobody in this House understood until the Bloomberg publication of documents and the US Department of Justice disclosures, he would never have appointed him in the first place.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the Chief Secretary for advance sight of his statement. It is a stain on our nation that we're even having to go through this. It's right that we keep Epstein's victims, survivors and families at the front of our minds. Today, Madam Deputy Speaker, marks the first day of Britain's own Epstein files. And for a close friend of Epstein to have been made Britain's ambassador to the United States is a shameful part of this affair that is the Prime Minister's responsibility. It is disappointing that he is not here now to answer for that and his catastrophic failure of judgment with respect to Mandelson. Peter Mandelson's close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and the fact that it continued long after Epstein's conviction for child sex trafficking have been reported by both Channel 4 dispatchers in 2019 and the Financial Times in 2023. Has the Prime Minister told the Chief Secretary personally how those reports made him feel and why he still felt it was right to appoint Mandelson anyway? Mandelson's £70,000 payout is an insult to Epstein's victims, and if he had a shred of decency left, he would donate it to charity. But the Chief Secretary's explanation as to why the government made that payout simply won't wash. Madam Speaker, with a very limited number of documents being released today, the way goes on for the rest of Britain's Epstein files. That includes the documents related to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, required by the humble address our party passed a fortnight ago. I very much hope the government will get them out as quickly as possible. It has taken 5 weeks from the Mandelson humble address to publication today. So can the Chief Secretary guarantee that the first Andrew papers will be published within the same timeframe by the 31st of March at the latest?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As I've said to the House, the Prime Minister regrets having appointed Peter Mandelson as Ambassador to the United States. It was the wrong decision. He's apologised for it. On the question of severance, as I say, the government would not have wanted to give £1 to Peter Mandelson, but it was the quickest way to remove Peter Mandelson as Ambassador and a member of the civil service. And as the leader of the Liberal Democrats says, and the government agrees with him, the honourable thing to do would be to donate that money to an appropriate charity. On the question of the humble address, the one that was brought forward by the Liberal Democrats is being managed by the Department for Business and Trade. I know they're working on that now and will come forward with updates in due course. And as I said in my statement, the Cabinet Office will come back with a further tranche of documents in relation to this humble address as soon as possible.
Justin Matters.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. If one of my constituents came to see me and told me that they'd lost their job or been sacked because they had lied during the application process and wanted compensation, I would tell them that they had absolutely no chance of doing that. So I really struggle to understand why we paid a penny. I understand what the Chief Secretary said about not wanting to do that, but really the risk of an employment tribunal claim in these circumstances is minuscule. And he's absolutely right. That money should have been paid to a victims' charity. So will he now press Mandelson to do the right thing and give that money to the victims of abuse?
I thank my honourable friend for his question. He and the House will see from the bundle of documents today that the government acted on the basis of legal advice in awarding that settlement payment. But I agree with him wholeheartedly and repeat from the dispatch box that the honourable thing for Peter Mandelson to do was to donate it to an appropriate charity.
Committee Chair Simon Hall.
Deputy Speaker, and I acknowledge what the Chief Secretary has said with regards to my role as the Chair of the Committee looking at documents sort of pro tem on behalf of the House, and that will be done, as he knows, properly. Now, just following on the point that the Honourable Gentleman has just raised, the Chief Secretary is of course right that under the civil service rules, Mandelson could have made a claim to a tribunal. He's right on that. But the Honourable Gentleman is also right. Anybody who has secured a position by deception would find themselves standing on the thinnest of thin ice with no chance at all. And the approach that Mandelson has shown in the original claim that he made just underscores the shamelessness of the individual in question. So my direct question to the Chief Secretary is this. On the point that, because he's admitted that the Prime Minister was lied to, that is a deception, was legal advice sought as to the likely outcome of any employment tribunal case brought by Mandelson? If it was, what that advice was, and if it wasn't, why not?
The advice, Madam Deputy Speaker, is in the bundles that have been published today. The Honourable Gentleman has to forgive me for not being able to refer him precisely to the right page at this moment, but they are in the documents today. And whilst it is not for me to defend the claim that Peter Mandelson was making against the government, I would just say to the House that one of the issues would, of course, been the legal fees in actually defending that claim at the Employment Tribunal itself, a cost to the taxpayer, even if in the end the government would have been successful. And it was those considerations that were put to the government in advice, which is why that settlement figure, which was a much lower figure than the legal fees and potential settlement being asked for, was the case.
What you've just seen is more than a heated exchange. It's a moment that cuts right to the heart of one of the most emotional and divisive issues in the UK today. When Lee Anderson stood up and demanded a clear answer, he wasn't just asking a political question, he was voicing a concern that many people across the country feel deeply. For countless families, the issue of migration isn't abstract. It's tied to questions about fairness, security, and whether the system is working as it should. People want clarity, they want transparency, and above all, they want to feel that their concerns are being taken seriously. But instead of a direct answer, Keir Starmer chose to respond with a broader defence, highlighting overall deportation numbers and attacking his opponent's record. For some, that's leadership, shifting the focus to achievements and calling out political inconsistency. For others, it feels like avoidance, like the question that was asked never truly got answered. And then came the moment that changed the tone completely, the personal jab. The kind of comment that grabs headlines, sparks reactions, and dominates the narrative long after the debate is over. Moments like this don't just stay inside the Prime Minister's questions chamber, they spread across social media, news outlets, and dinner table conversations across the country. This is why debates like these matter so much, because behind every statistic, every policy, and every argument, there are real people. People who are trying to make sense of what's happening and what it means for their future. Some will look at this exchange and see a Prime Minister standing firm under pressure. Others will see a leader deflecting a straightforward question. And that divide between perception and reality is what makes moments like this so powerful. So now the question is yours. Do you think the Prime Minister gave a strong and justified response, or did he dodge the question and resort to personal attacks? And more importantly, do you feel the issue raised here is being properly addressed, or is it being talked around instead of tackled directly? Your voice matters in this conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the debate. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Britain Briefed. It's completely free and it helps us keep bringing you the most powerful, unfiltered moments from UK politics. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you in the next one.